All right, back to counting atoms. All right, slide down. All right, what is a chemical formula? Chemical formula represents blank and blank uses blank to show the number of atoms in each blank. Okay, so what's the difference between a molecule and an atom?
An atom.
Chemical.
So a molecule is like two atoms mixed together,
Exactly.
and an atom is just one.
So is this going to be an atom or a molecule?
An atom. I mean a molecule. Molecule.
This whole thing's a molecule made up of two.
Atom.
Bingo. All right. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Write this down. So we use our symbols, H and O, and we use a subscript 2 to tell us how many H's we have. If there's no subscript in front of it, we got an automatic 1. Again, this is kind of review, but it's always good to go over this stuff because we're going to be seeing this a lot next week. Now again, you don't have to write it word for word, but write it in a way that you can understand. Anyone need more time?
Good.
We all got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. All right. All right, let's talk about chemical symbols. All right, so you know that all chemicals are going to be, all elements are going to be represented by either one or two letters. Now, why do we have to capitalize the first letter if there's two? Yes, Zarka.
Because like if there's two and then one is capital, it's like it's one element, so you can know it's one element.
Let me ask you this. That's right, but would it be difficult to understand this? How do you know which one's which? How do you know that's sodium and not nitrogen and something else?
I don't know what this is.
Exactly, yes.
The reason it's capitalized to show you that like it's an element, and then like because if there was no capital letters, you wouldn't know which was which because how you supposed to know?
Exactly.
You have to show you what it is.
That's still confusing.
Still
Cause they
confusing.
make it seem like every letter, is the element.
Exactly, that's right. So the reason we do it like that is that each time you see a capital letter, you know it's a new element. All right, good deal. Feel free to write this down if you need it, but if you already understand that concept, then you don't really have to. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
All good. Anyone need more time?
No, sir.
All right. All right. Here we go. Subscripts, we've talked about these. Does anyone remember what it's called when it's up top?
Superscript.
Superscript, that's right. You've seen that in math. Here we got them at the bottom. We're gonna call that a subscript. All right, and what does that tell us?
It's
The amount
The number.
Raise your hands. Gregory,
Atoms.
the number of atoms? That's right. So how many CLs do we have?
2.
2. How many CAs?
1.
1. All right. So it's talking about the one behind it. All right, so if we saw NA right here, it has nothing to do with that. It has only to do with what it's right in front of. And if there is no subscript, automatic 1. All right, write that down if you need it. Again, you don't have to write it word for word. You write down what's best for you to understand. Some of you may have to draw pictures. Some of you may have to draw examples. Some of you may have to write step-by-step instructions. Some of you can understand it without writing anything down. Anybody need more time? All right, so we've seen this, but we didn't know the name of it. All right, so this big number out in front, we call it the coefficient. All right, and what does that tell us?
The most,
I heard that.
Yes, Arca?
That tells us how many of the elements we have that we have.
So is it saying we have 4 CO2s?
yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. That's why we distribute it to each one. So if we were going carbon, how many carbons do we have?
4.
So 1 times 4 equals 4, way to go. Oxygen, how many we got?
8.
2 times 4 equals 8. That is a funky looking 8, but you know what it means. All right. So we multiply the subscripts by the coefficients. We don't see a subscript, automatic 1. Pretty simple. Hmm?
Is that a 4?
That was a 4, yes. Yeah, I teach science, not English. There it is. Bingo. So you may see a test question asking for the name of that. It may ask you what a subscript is. So knowing the names is going to be a pretty good deal. Might even throw in a bonus question about the superscript. Yes. You stretching? Okay. Pretty soon we're going to get into a bunch of practice questions. We'll be drawing popsicle sticks to see who's going to get it. And we'll do it for tiger bugs. Everybody following? Any questions thus far?
No, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So, the subscript, like, I've even given a scope. I know the scope, how you say that?
Subscript.
Subscript.
That's going to be your subscript. And all that's telling us is we have 2 oxygen molecules, or 2 oxygen atoms. Now, because there's no subscript here, they could just put a 1 right there. It'd make it less confusing, but it's just assumed that because there's nothing there, it's a 1. So if I wrote, I have 4 oxygen, but I only have this 1 P. So if you don't see a subscript there, it just tells you there's 1 P in this whole equation. Now, if you remember, everything's made up of trillions of atoms. So when we're talking about this, we're talking like just getting the base, like a very small ratio. Let's say you need to make 1,000 cookies. I'll give you the recipe to make 1 cookie. Then you multiply it by 1,000. Does that make sense? So this is like the smallest form of the recipe. And if we were talking, being realistic, you know, we'd get into 0, 0, 0, 0 of that. Make sense?
Like, what was that?
Got a question? That was just 1,000 PO4. All right, so any questions? Everyone got this?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. All right, we talked about the parentheses. Now, what's the rule if we see something outside the parentheses?
That one,
Multiply by what's in the parentheses.
That's right, we distribute. So first, tell me, how many lead do we have? Don't answer the full thing, let's go step by step. How many lead?
4,
This is gonna be lead.
2,
1. How many nitrogen we got?
3, 2,
We got 1 right here. Is there anything right there?
No.
How many oxygen we got?
3
All right, now we gotta distribute this to which ones?
to the N and the O.
That's right,
nitrogen and oxygen.
correct. All right, 1 equals 1. 1 times 2 equals what?
2.
3 times 2 equals 6. All right, let's see if we were
You
right.
get 9.
yeah, you get 9.
2, 6.
Okay.
Yeah, good deal. All right, so if we see parentheses, whatever number's outside, we multiply these by. Remember, no subscript, automatic 1. Distribute, distribute, distribute. Step 1, you gotta write out what you have, then write how many you have, and then you multiply and get your final answers. All right, write that down if you need it. Excuse me. Only what's in the parentheses. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can. All right. All right, let's practice. Okay. Anybody at 55? Nope.
No, sir.
53? Nope.
Nobody's at 50.
45. All right. What's step 1? Well, they did step 1. They wrote these out for you. Okay, what's our next step? All right, the numbers. So how much do we have for lithium?
2.
How many for sulfur?
1.
How many for oxygen?
4.
All right. Do we do anything else? What do we do next? We add them together. So if we were to count the atoms, how many do we got?
7.
They didn't do the addition, but we got our answers right. And if they did add it, that's what it would be. One tiger book for you. All right.
Hey, close, I wasn't done. I wasn't done.
You want to do one?
No, I wasn't done right now.
Oh, I got you. Write down these examples. Not bad. You can go back and look. A lot of times I was like, how did I do that? I have to go back and see my work, and then I remember. Go ahead.
Dang.
Y'all chill out. Everyone good on this?
Yes.
No, sir.
All right. 38.
38.
That's you. You want to do it? You want to give it a shot? All right. Step 1, they wrote them out for us, okay? So forget this big number first. How many beryllium do we have? Or barium, my bad. 1. How many Cl? 2. Okay, now what do we do?
Add it together.
Not yet. If we see this big number out in front, what do we got to do?
Multiply.
Multiply. All right, so we distribute that to everything. We see the big number out front, we give it to everything. So we're going to multiply everything by 3. What does that give us?
3. 6.
And then we add them together, what do we get?
Like,
You going too fast.
9. I'm going too fast? Who said that? Okay. So remember, you start with what you got. Write out what you have. Step 1, barium, chlorine. Step 2, find what we have. Nothing here, automatic 1. We know we have 2 there, so 1 and 2. Step 3, big number, distribute. Multiply by 3, multiply by 3. Get our answers. And then we're done, pretty much. Last step is just add them up. We get 9. There are 9 total molecules in here.
So the big number probably multiply that number by the left.
Yeah, so if you see a big number in front of anything, you distribute it to all of them. So that would become 3 times 2 equals,
6,
3 times 1 equals 3. Exactly. Now, if we see parentheses and see like, you still distribute it to them. You still gonna distribute to everything after it. You see a big coefficient, we're going to everything. Now, the only thing is if we see a number, a little number outside of parentheses, that little number gets multiplied by only the stuff in the parentheses. Does that make sense?
yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, I get tired. I get tired. Look.
Yes, you do. Wow. Thank you for participating. All right. Anyone need to write this down? Are we good? Everyone got it? All right.
I'm not doing
50, nope, that was in there. I'm pulling sticks, giving everyone a fair chance. 49.
it.
All right, step 1, they gave it to us. What's our next step? Huh?
Oh.
Step 1, we gotta find what we have. All right, since there's no number there, it's automatic 1. So how much Ag, how much silver do we have? Well, don't do that yet. How many do we have right out front? 1. How many nitrogen? How many oxygen? All right, now we're gonna take our big coefficient and multiply it by that. All right, so we're gonna multiply everything by 4. All right, what's that one?
4.
Merla. What's this one? What's this one? All right, and if we added them all up, what would it be? 20. 20. Remember, step 1, write them down. Step 2, count your not coefficients, your subscripts. And then you're gonna multiply by your coefficient. Don't stand over that one place. Everyone good on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. All right, let's see who's next. 44. All right. Step 1.
Do whatever in parentheses.
Not exactly. You would in math, but right now we're gonna just write our subscripts. So how many lead do we have?
1,
How much oxygen?
1,
How much hydrogen?
1.
All right, now, because there's no coefficient, there's no big number right here, we don't distribute anything, but there is a little subscript right here, and we gotta distribute it. We gotta distribute it to these. All right, so oxygen and hydrogen. So what do we do next?
Multiply by 2.
That's right. All right, that's gonna equal 1. These are gonna equal what?
2.
That's correct. All right. 43. Nobody. 47. Who's 47? All right. Step 1. The little what? Right here? What are these called? If there's a number right here, this would be the coefficient. So what would it be called if they're right here?
Oh, it's
It's a subscript. A subscript. Remember, these up here are called superscripts. So down here are called subscripts. All right, so what's our subscript for NA? 1. What about C? Where's Shonda, please? I can't hear you. 1. How many oxygen? 3. All right, now what's our next step? Which ones? Not all of them. If we had a number right here, we would distribute it to all of them. But we only distribute this to what's in the parentheses. All right, so we're only gonna multiply C and O by 2. Just 2 rules. Big number, everything. Parentheses, what's in it. All right, so we got. All right, so what's this gonna equal? 1, 2, and 6. Let's see if we're right. Yes, right. Make sure we're paying attention on how to do these.
We have a test on this.
Yeah, we're gonna have a test on this. All right. Let's see. 40. All right, Tyrone.
Alright, so the carbon is gonna be 1. The hydrogen is gonna be 3. Hold on. Why is it 2 C's?
Uh-huh. They still count. Count them the same. So instead of 1, what's it gonna be?
Oh, 2. And 2 oxygens.
All right. Is there anything else we need to do?
No, because it's not a parentheses.
You are correct.
Good job.
I don't think I gave us brown logo on the tiger boat. Good deal. All right. We got about 4 more of these. 41. All right, Braden, let's do this. Step 1. That's correct. All right, y'all listen. One, that's correct. Correct. Okay, what's step 2? Which one's gonna be multiplied by 2? Both of what? P and O, okay? Distribute. All right, so that's gonna equal 3. What's that gonna equal? 2 and 8. Let's see if we're right. 1, 2, and 8. Or 3, 2, and 8. Yep. That's correct. Good job. Thank you, sir. All right. 42. All right, let's see it, Charity. Okay, step 1. Magnesium.
Magnesium have 2.
Okay, how much nitrogen?
3.
Correct. Okay, step
Since
2.
we have a coefficient, we're gonna contribute every to everything.
That's correct.
So you gotta count it by 6.
That's correct.
2 times 6 is 12. 18. And now you gotta add it up, and that's gonna be
What's that gonna be? if she asks for it.
So,
30.
20.
It'll be 30. 30. So 12 and 18, we were correct. Good job.
Somebody spray
Is it bothering you?
cologne. Yeah, just really spray.
All right, you're welcome to move. Whoever's spraying cologne. Give it to me. Where's the top to it? No spraying cologne or perfume in here. Y'all know who's allergic. If you need to get up and move, you can. All right, 46. All right, step one, Kennedy. And nitrogen, how many we got? Remember, if you don't see anything in front of it, the capitals tell us it's a new element. So these are two different elements.
Oh,
All right, so how many hydrogen we got?
4.
All right, how many phosphorus? 1, because remember, these are two different elements. How many oxygen?
4.
All right, what's step 2?
Do you have to multiply 4 times 1?
Multiply by what?
One time, four.
Not 1, okay? So since we don't have a coefficient, the only things we're gonna multiply is coefficients and subscripts outside of parentheses.
Oh,
Since there's nothing here, we don't distribute nothing, but we do have this right here. So what do we do? Let Kennedy answer. This is telling us that we have 3 sets of NH4. So we're gonna multiply this times 3, multiply this times 3. Everything else stays on its own. It's running out here anyways. So it's just gonna be nitrogen times 3 and hydrogen times 3. Remember, we see this outside parentheses, we distribute everything in. We see a big number out in front, we distribute everything, okay? So what's 1 times 3? What's 3 times 4? All right, so we got 3, 12, 1, and 4. Let's see for right. 3, 12, 1, and 4. Perfect. All right, good job.
Have everybody went? No,
We got one more.
I haven't went.
And whoever's stick I didn't pull, I'll make up one. All right, 48. All right, Zarka. What's step 1?
Okay. So you gotta write down all the atoms of the elements.
Okay, so how many do we got?
Aluminum has 2, sulfur has 1, oxygen has 4.
All right, step 2.
Then you gotta multiply sulfur and oxygen by 3.
Correct. Okay. What do we get here?
That equals 3. That equals 12.
So we got 2, 3, and 12. Perfect. Good job.
Crazy, everybody went for me.
Is there anybody who didn't go yet that wants one? You went. Jamar, you want one? Maverick, you want one? Okay.
I want one.
All right. Jamari, what's step 1?
They do it too. You gotta write about it.
All right, next up.
then, so you do 2 times oxygen.
All right.
So
How many do I have?
3.
What? Now, how many of what's do I have?
You got 2
Two what?
subscripts.
How many sodiums do I have? Remember, we gotta write out how many we got of each first.
Yeah,
So how many C's do we have?
2,
You sure?
1,
Now how many O's do we have?
2.
Don't get confused. We see CO2. We only have 2 O's and 1 C. All right. So we multiplied everything by 2. Is there something else we need to do?
4.
All right. What's the 4 gonna be do?
Look up the C and the O.
All right. What do you do with them?
Multiply.
Multiply. All right. What do we get?
So that's 2 for the first one. And then that's 8 for the second. Then for the last one, that's 16.
That is correct.
So then the answer is 26.
26. We add them all up, we get 26. That's correct. Anyone else want one?
Me.
That haven't had one.
Maverick.
Maverick. All right.
Oh, I get you.
All right, Maverick. This one's gonna be tough. I'm just playing. All right, this one's a little bit tougher. All right. You want one next? What's your question?
I said,
Yeah. All right. What's step 1, Maverick?
you're right. So, how many?
So how many we got?
For hydrogen is 2, and then for oxygen is 1. Carbon.
You see this right here? You see this right here? So how many hydrogen you got? 4. Don't forget, if you see an element in one place and then another place, treat them as if they're the same, gonna be the same. So we still gonna add them together, so we have 4. All right, how many oxygen?
1.
1,
And then carbon is 2, 6.
6. Okay, what's the next step?
You multiply what's in the parentheses with 2.
Okay.
Add carbon, 12, and then 8.
Oh, Coach Reader made a mistake. All right, so what you gonna do with this is we need to go ahead and do this, because if we add hydrogen plus hydrogen, we get 4 hydrogen, and then we multiply it by 2, it'll turn into 8. But what's really supposed to happen is we're supposed to multiply this first, then add it to that. So excuse me. All right. So when you see it like this, when you have an element outside the parentheses, everyone pay attention because we haven't seen this yet. When we have an element outside the parentheses and then we have one inside the parentheses and it has this and you're gonna multiply it. If you added these together, that'd be 4H, well, times 2 would become 8. But really, this is just telling us to double this. So that becomes 4H plus these 2, which is 6. It would be different. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
2 times 2 plus 2 is different than 2 plus 2 times 2. 1 equals 8, 1 equals 6. Yes, ma'am?
That a 4 in front of the H.
Yes. It's supposed to be a weird looking 4 or a Y. All right. Yes, ma'am? Second. All right, so we're gonna start with this. How many H are we gonna have right here? All right. How many C are we gonna have?
12.
All right. So now that that's done, how many H we got right here?
2.
So if we add H4 and H2, what do we get?
8.
6. H6, that's right. Okay, now we keep going. How many oxygen we got? 1. How many carbon? All right, 6, but we're gonna multiply that by 2. Because I already distributed to that and that, okay? So, what's our next step?
Multiply all of those by 4.
That's correct. So what's this gonna equal? What's this gonna equal?
4.
All right, what's this gonna equal? 6 times 2 times 4.
Forget.
48. All right, good job.
Can
That
I
one
add
was
all
tough.
of them?
That look
Huh?
like an
Can
N.
I add all of them?
Yeah, go ahead, add them up.
Alright, so 48 plus 24. Wait, no, 28 plus 48. 76.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. Gotcha. When Bradley gets back, you can go. Alrighty.